Hey guys, it's Elisa, not Alyssa, and today we're going to be talking about English words we need in Italian. So last week I did a video on the Italian words we need in English. So this time we're doing the opposite. English words we need in Italian. Some of these words are words that there are no translation for, but there are other words that I just prefer in English and I find sound better and are more satisfying to me. So this is kind of personal preference. Just as I did last week, I put a story asking you guys what your favorite words in English were. So after we go through my personal list, I'm going to go through the ones that you guys sent me as well. By the way, be sure to follow me on Instagram if you guys want to be more included in some of my videos and know some of the behind the scenes stuff and what's going on. Okay, so the first word, which is an amazing word, is awkward. Awkward is a word that you don't really have in Italian. There are some other words that you can use together to try to get close to the meaning of awkward, but it's not exactly the same. Because the thing is, awkward in Italian can be imbarazzante, which is more embarrassing. It can be difficile, but difficile is like difficult, like a difficult situation, I guess. If I look on word reference, they also have scomodo. Scomodo is uncomfortable. So like, yeah, awkward is uncomfortable, but we have uncomfortable in English, and uncomfortable is not the same as awkward. Like, it's a part of what awkward means, but it's not the entire definition. It doesn't get to the full meaning of awkward. And I've even asked Italians this. I'm like, is there a way to say awkward? And they're like, no. And the beautiful thing is that you can say that it was awkward, like the situation, the interaction, or you could say he was awkward or I was awkward. Like, maybe I'm the only one who was awkward. Maybe the other person was the only one who was awkward, or maybe we both were in the situation was awkward. So you can kind of apply it to people and to the situation itself, which I really enjoy. And it just doesn't do it justice. So awkward is probably one of my favorite words in English. The second word is cringe. Cringe is also a word that does not exist in Italian, and I've asked Italians this, so I kind of have confirmation. The reason it becomes really obvious sometimes that these words don't exist is because my boyfriend, who also speaks English, well, he usually talks to me in Italian, and when he talks in Italian, sometimes he'll randomly insert an English word, and I'm like, why don't you just say in Italian? He's like, there's no way to say it. And I noticed the word cringe a long time ago. Like, sometimes they use cringe in Italian, and in Italian they do borrow a lot of words, and cringe is one of the ones that I've heard being borrowed. So it's a great word. Now, if I look on word reference, it says farsi piccolo, to make oneself small. So you know when you cringe and you're just like, ugh, and you kind of just go like this kind of motion? Fear, coward, draw back. Yeah, but cringe is also like, ugh, like it's that like shaky, like ew feeling. Like the example sentence they give is, I cringe whenever she says she's going to sing. And then the translation is, mi faccio piccolo ogni volta che dice che intende cantare. I don't know. I really don't think that there's a perfect translation for cringe, to make oneself small. I mean, I guess you think of an animal making themselves tiny and like cowering in fear, but fear is not the same as cringe. Cringe is like embarrassing, kind of. Embarrassing and just, it's hard to explain. There's another one that says fare una smorfia. It's like to grimace, to like make a face like this, kind of, but like you can't say, for example, it makes me cringe. Oh my gosh, that's so cringe-worthy. You can't say that, and that is very annoying. Anyway, cringe is a great word. The next word is creepy. So they do have a translation for creepy, but I just don't find it satisfying at all. So creepy most of the time will translate to inquietante, but I don't know, because the thing is, it doesn't give like all the definitions of creepy, and the reason I like creepy is because it means more than one of the Italian definitions that there are. So as I said, the first one's inquietante. It also says sospetto, kind of like suspicious. Orrendo, schifoso, but orrendo is horrendous and schifoso is like disgusting. And like, yeah, kind of, but not 100%. Pauroso. I don't think inquietante really does it justice. No, there are a couple of words that my boyfriend told me that also kind of mean creepy, but I can't remember them right now, and I don't think they were the ones on this list. So there might be some other words that together mean creepy. You know how some words sound like what they are? For example, like creepy, it's like to creep forward. It's like to move in like a scary kind of weird, I don't know, suspicious way. I just feel like it sounds like what it is. It's very satisfying. The next word is get. So get is extremely versatile. So some examples would be, can you get that for me? Which in Italian you would have to say, can you go take that for me? Because prendere is take, okay? So in English, we have the option to say take or to say get. Another sentence is, do you get it? As in understand, capisci. But we have understand and we have get, but it has a kind of different color to it. You know what I mean? Understand is more, it's a bit more formal, whereas get is just like, it's relaxed. Get is amazing. Can you get that for me? Do you get it? I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. It's like mi sto preparando. I am preparing myself. And a lot of times, especially a couple of years ago, I would say, how the heck do you say I'm getting tired? Like, you can't really say mi sto stancando unless, from what I understand, you say like mi sto stancando di te. I'm getting tired of you or something, but it's not the same as I'm getting tired. It's like mi sta venendo sonno. Like, sleepiness is coming to me, but that's not the same. I'm getting bored, I'm getting sleepy, I'm getting hungry. To say that feeling is slowly coming over you, but you're not completely hungry or completely sleepy. So get is very versatile, and obviously there are tons of other sentences, but to not make this video go a million years long, since it'll probably be about 20 minutes, I'm gonna stop there. But anyway, get is a great word. The next one is figure out. To figure something out. You'll figure it out. The only way to say this, like, there isn't really a way to say this in Italian. All you can say is like, lo capirai, like you will understand it or something, or non lo so, troverò un modo, like I'll find a way or something like that. Troverò un modo di capirlo. But there's no way to say I'll figure it out, because figure it out gives you the impression that like you're messing with something and you'll have to think about it and test and experiment until things kind of come together and make sense. You know what I mean? That's to figure something out. The closest thing you could say is probably like scoprire or risolvere, to discover or to resolve. So word reference also says comprendere and capire. Comprendere is to comprehend and capire is to understand. Yeah, kinda, but not really. Again, you could say risolto, risolvere, but that's resolve, and resolve is much more formal, so it's nice to have figure out. It's probably from the more German side of English, whereas resolve is from the more Latin side of English. And sometimes the German ones are really convenient and really quick and just get to the point. The next word is entertain, which I don't believe has a perfect translation. So to be amused, like, oh, I was so entertained. I mean, I guess you could say I was so amused as well, but I don't know, kind of that kind of meaning. That's what I'm talking about. So word reference says intrattenere and divertire, but divertire is to have fun. So when you're entertained, you are having fun. But I think it might be the same in some cases, but I don't know if you can say, oh my gosh, I was so entertained. Like, I don't know, something funny happened today. I was so entertained. Ero così intrattenuta. I'm pretty sure that that's a weird thing to say. So even though you might have the translation, it might be weird to say in some situations. So entertained is a winner for me. So the next one is supposed to. And I talked to my boyfriend about this to confirm, like, is there a way to say supposed to? And it's like, yeah, kinda, but not 100%. So from what we kind of gathered, supposed to is something that's in between devo and dovrei. So devo is something like I have to or I need to, and dovrei is like I should. And supposed to is something in between. So it's like, you can kind of say in Italian, like, sei tenuto a fare, I think, which is like, you are expected to do this or something, but it's just not the exact same as supposed to. You're not supposed to do that. Like, that thing was not designed for you to do it in this way. That's kind of what supposed to means. And I don't know, non devi far così. It's like you don't need to do that, sort of, or you don't have to do that, but that's, you don't need to and you don't have to is not the same as supposed to. It's like never saying supposed to and always saying should. It's like, oh, I should be there in 5 minutes. I should be there in 5 minutes means that's the amount of time I estimate it's going to take me to get there. But if I say I'm supposed to be there in 5 minutes, it means they said I have to be there in 5 minutes, but that has nothing to do with whether or not I'm going to be there on time, if that makes any sense. And I think that's a problem that could come up in Italian. So supposed to is great. The next word is inside joke. Well, it's 2 words, whatever, who cares? Inside joke. Inside joke does not exist in Italian. There's no way to say it. So my boyfriend's brother was here along with my boyfriend, and they were talking about something, and I was like, oh, what are you talking about? And in Italian, he said, oh, nothing. It's an inside joke. Like, he said the rest of the sentence in Italian, but he just said inside joke in English because there's no way to say, like, there's no translation for inside joke as far as we're concerned. So if I look it up on word reference, it gives me battuta interna a un gruppo. So joke, internal joke in a group. It's so awkward, you know? And then the second one is inside joke, as in it's a borrowed word. Some of these things exist, but from what I understand, it's like really weird to say it. It would make more sense to say it in English. Saying battuta interna a un gruppo is kind of just describing what it is. It's like saying, oh, it's a joke that we only understand and you wouldn't be able to understand because you weren't there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like explaining it, so it doesn't count. The next word is tricky. I like tricky because it's just another option. I really like the way it sounds. So tricky means difficult, tricky means complicated, but not to that degree. Tricky is like, I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain what tricky means? It's just tricky. It's just like there's something small about it. You know, if you're trying to do something very delicate, like I can't think of a good example right now, unless you're trying to get a thread through a needle. The definition of tricky is requiring care and skill because difficult or awkward. And the next word is very relevant because it rhymes with tricky, and it's picky. Like, you're so picky. It's like someone who, my brother, when he was young, had this friend who would only eat like fries drenched in vinegar and like hot dogs, and he wouldn't eat anything else. He was picky because he would only eat specific things. So he's a picky person, and picky has usually a negative connotation to it. I could say like, oh yeah, I'm really picky with who I date. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you just date anyone, that's not good. So it's not that picky is always negative, but usually in English you would say, I don't know, to say I'm very picky, like sono molto selettiva, or molto selettivo. Selettivo, from what I understand, is usually a positive connotation, and selective, it's like I like to select certain things, but that's not the same as picky. Picky is like you don't like anything. The next word is translucent. Now, no one understands why I love this word, and no one thinks it's necessary, but I think it's extremely necessary. I love the word translucent. Translucent is a beautiful word. If you don't know what translucent is a via di mezzo. The hell do you say that in English?
Like an
in-between. Okay. So if transparent is here and opaque is here, translucent is right in the middle. So it's when you can kind of half see through it. So a window's transparent, a wall is opaque, and a foggy glass is translucent. And I don't know, it's happened before. I just like the word translucent, first of all. And it's happened a couple of times where I want to say translucent, but I have to say like mezzo trasparente, which is like half transparent, which is not as satisfying as translucent. And again, I like the way translucent sounds. So if you also like the word translucent, then I like you. So the next one is hence. I do use the word hence decently often for some reason. I don't know why. But the reason I like hence is because sometimes it adds a little bit of humor to what I want to say. I don't know, it adds a bit of personality instead of always saying the same thing all the time. And the thing is with hence, you change the structure of the sentence in order to use that word. So let me think of a sentence. Okay, I just found a random sentence on the internet. So it says, even as little children, Mark and Jason did not like each other. Hence the fight during dinner. It's kind of like saying that explains why they had a fight during dinner, which is so much longer, and hence just really shortens it, and just it sounds cool. And sometimes I like being a little bit formal in English when I'm in the mood for it, and this is a good word. And I don't think there's a way to say that in Italian, because again, you would have to say that longer version. Tipo, Mark e Jason non si piacevano, e per quello che hanno litigato durante la cena, or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, hence is good. I know not a lot of people use that. The next ones are whenever and wherever. So this happens with my student. If we're chatting before our lesson, I'll say, are you ready? Blah, blah, blah. And he wants to say, yeah, call me whenever. And he's like, wait, how do I say whenever? And I always correct him to chiamami quando vuoi, which is call me when you want. But you can't say whenever. And the thing is, whenever shortens the sentence. I don't know, and wherever is similar. And I just kind of useful sometimes, because I can't say call me when you want. Call me when you're ready. I can say call me when you're ready, but sometimes it's nice to say call me whenever, and there's no option for that in Italian, and that's annoying. So word reference gives me in ogni momento, in each moment, in qualsiasi momento, in qualunque momento, which is kind of the same. So ogni, qualsiasi, qualunque, they're all kind of similar, but it's like in whatever moment you decide. It's like something like that. I'm like, no, just whenever. It's so quick and beautiful. And for wherever, it gives me dovunque or ovunque, but ovunque, and that might just be my limitation in Italian, but to me, ovunque sounds more like everywhere, not wherever. Where do you want to go? Wherever. Oh my gosh, this video is going to be so long. Okay, the last word on my list is cute. There is cute in Italian. Cute is carino, but carino can also mean nice. And I don't know, I just like that cute is specifically reserved for like little animals that just have like this, they're so little and just, you're so cute. It's like, or cute like by being sweet. So, you know, sweet in personality, like you're so cute, you're so sweet. But the other thing I like about the word cute is that it sounds like what it is. As I said with the word creepy, cute is a cute word. The word sounds cute. Like, just say the word cute right now. Like, isn't that freaking satisfying? Now I'm going to move on to the words that you guys sent me. So my friend Davide from Podcast Italiano said supposed, like supposed to, but I already talked about that. So good. Thank you for agreeing with me. Stefania Butita, I think, says darkness, but darkness should be oscurità. Even though sometimes I have trouble when I'm trying to say like it's dark outside, it just like, it's something sounds wrong about the Italian way to me. Like sometimes I don't know if I should say scuro or oscuro or I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I do find darkness a little bit more satisfying, I have to say, even though there is a translation. Irene 19 NK says, or Irene says cheesy or corny. Those are both really good words. I think in Italian you would say like sdolcinato. It also gives me stupido, risaputo, sdolcinato, stucchevole, smiellato. So the main ones I think are sdolcinato and smiellato. So sdolcinato is like overly sweet, sort of, and smiellato, miele is honey. So it's, again, like overly sweet. I don't know, if you're watching like a romantic film and it's just like there's too much, like just exaggerated romance, that would be kind of cheesy. But cheesy doesn't only refer to like romantic things, or corny doesn't only refer to romantic things. So I feel like corny and cheesy are slightly more versatile. So I do agree with you. That's a great word, and I think it deserves a spot on the list. Even though there is a translation, I prefer the English one. So Maria Chiara says mood. Mood should be umore. I'm in a bad mood, sono di cattivo umore. But mood, I have to say, is so much easier to say in English, in my opinion. Instead of saying I am of negative mood, like it's just quicker to say it in English, you know? So even though there's a translation for mood, obviously I do prefer, I mean, the thing is there are going to be more words that I prefer in English just because it's my first language. It makes sense that I'm going to prefer some of these. Focus I like because in Italian you would probably just say concentrarsi, which is to concentrate, but we have concentrate, we don't have focus. And it's nice to have that other option. Outfit should be like abito, il tuo abito, but I don't know, there's something about saying it in Italian that doesn't make it sound like the complete thing, like top, bottom, jewelry, shoes. Like it doesn't sound like it's the whole thing to me. So I have to say it is more satisfying in English, in my opinion. I just find talking about clothes in general more satisfying because, like, for example, the word for dress is vestito, and the word for suit is vestito, and the word for piece of clothing is vestito. It's like, what the heck? So that's actually another thing. A lot of clothing words in English are just much more satisfying. The next one is privacy. So they actually use the word privacy in Italian because there's actually no translation for the word privacy. And even people who don't speak English will say privacy or something like that. So that word doesn't exist, so that definitely belongs on my list. So thank you, Maria Chiara, for all your words. The next one comes from Roberto, and he says mesmerize. Mesmerized is another word that I personally love. It's one of my favorite words in English. I like the way it sounds. It sounds like what it is. Again, as I said, like, I am mesmerized. I was mesmerized by your beauty. So for mesmerized, it gives me ipnotizzato, which is like hypnotized. Incantato, which is like something like being under a spell. Affascinato. Affascinato is like fascinated. Kind of, but not really. Mesmerizzare. So apparently they have the verb to mesmerize, or to sono mesmerizzato. I'm pretty sure you can't say that. So even, as I said, sometimes they can't be used with the same construction, like the same grammar, the same type of sentence, and that's not satisfying. Mesmerize sounds really good though. I love that word. Thank you, Roberto. Enrico says il verbo to get e I suoi svariati usi, which means the verb to get and all its uses, which I already talked about. My friend Carla says it's lit, but lit is slang. I don't know how much that counts. And actually, there's a lot of slang that's very satisfying to use in English, but you just can't use it in Italian. I could probably make a whole video on modern English slang if you guys would be interested in that, and I could talk about it. Eliana says sugarcoating. I don't think there's a way to say sugarcoating, actually. So the definition of sugarcoating is to disguise the unpleasantness of. And it says edulcorare, which I've never heard. Zuccherare, it's like to sweeten, but that's like literally to sweeten. She's Italian, so I'm pretty sure if that word could be used in the same way, then she wouldn't have sent it to me as a word, or maybe she just finds it more satisfying. I've never heard someone say that word in Italian, so it's probably weird to use or something. So thank you for your submission. A bunch of funny words: hullabaloo, kerfuffle, and gobbledygook. Oh my gosh, those are funny words. I can't remember what hullabaloo and the other one mean, but kerfuffle is kind of like to have a fight. And it's a funny word to use. Like, it's a word that if you use it, people will laugh because it just sounds silly. I don't know how you would say those in Italian. LYMP59 says, I often say by the time. It's not one word, but feels so right. Oh my gosh, it does feel so right. It's like, by the time you get here, I'll already be done. Maybe una volta che arrivi, avrò già finito. Something like that. Like, once you get here. But by the time, you're right. Like, there's something satisfying about it. Okay, that video was sufficiently long, and this is going to take me 10 hours to edit. those are all the words I have for you today. So those are my English words that I love and your English words that you love. Obviously, I'm going to remember a million more, and I am open to doing an addition to this video in the future, a part 2, because there's certainly going to be other words that I really love that I'll want to include. But that's all for today. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to follow me on Instagram, please do. It would make me very happy. Another thing that would make me very happy is if you liked this video,
because it helps me out very much and helps people to find my videos and be able to watch them so that YouTube doesn't dislike me.
Leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite words in English are, or if there are any ones you think that I missed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.